Chapter 13. Qin Xiubao, burdened by guilt, meets the young lady. The poem reads, clouds and rain may turn, friendships may falter, even in dire straits. Only heroes, their spirits united, are truly different. A single letter, and one is willing to risk life and death for another. Rescuing the distressed and aiding the needy, the noble spirit of Guanzhong and Bao Shuya is still worthy of emulation. Right tone, reduce character magnolia flower. There are many shallow friendships, but also many deep ones. Those with shallow friendships are as close as glue in times of wealth and honor, but in times of trouble, they are like sand, unwilling to be drawn together. If a chivalrous person has a heart, they will do their utmost to help. A single letter treated as an imperial edict. This is the present-day Chen Lei, the former Guanzhong and Bao Shuya. Shani village is only 30 li from Yuzhou. Setting off at dawn, they arrived at daybreak. Gongjin settled his luggage at the west end of the commander's mansion, prepared a meal, and then ordered his men to invite the two Lord Yuqi from the guardhouse outside the west gate. This Yuqi is not the same Yuqi Gong, but a nephew of Yuqi Jiang, the governor of Zhaoxiang Prefecture, and thus a nephew of the Yuqi clan. The two brothers, Yuqi Nan and Yuqi Bei, have always been close friends with Zhang Gongjin and currently serve as two flag bearers under Luo Gongbao. Outside the east gate of the commander's mansion is the office for civil officials, and outside the west gate is the office for military officers. The flag bearers and other officials wait for the signalman inside the gate to sound the horn and music 3 times before the central officer enters, raises the flag, and fires the cannon before the commander's mansion opens. Yuqi Nan and Yuqi Bei, in military uniform, waited as 2 young men entered and said, "Gentlemen, our master invites you." Yuqi Nan asked, "Are you from Zhangjia village?" The young man replied, "Yes." Yuqi Nan asked, "Is your master in the city?" The young man said, "He is at the west end of the gate. He requests an audience with you, gentlemen." Yuqi Nan instructed his men to guard the guardhouse and then went to Gongjin's quarters. Gongjin, knowing the Yuqi brothers were both high-ranking officials, didn't want to be too disrespectful. He hid Xiubao, Jin, and Tang in a guest room, waiting for Gongjin to lead the way and announce the arrival of the guests before inviting them. Zhang Gongjin, Shi Danai, and Bai Xiandao were sitting when the Yuqi brothers arrived. They greeted each other and sat down as host and guest. Seeing Shi Danai present, Yuqi Nan said, "Brother Zhang, you've come to the city so early today. Is it because the time for your contest with Comrade Shi is over and you wish to pay your respects to me?" Gongjin replied, "That is true, but I have another matter to discuss." Yuqi Nan asked, "What else do you wish to discuss?" Gongjin took a letter from his sleeve and handed it to the Yuqi brothers. They took the document, opened it, and the 2 brothers, after reading it, said, "Ah, it's a letter from Brother Shan of Urxian village in Luzhu, recommending our friend Qin to submit a petition to our office, asking you to lead the way. Where is our friend Qin now? Please come and meet him." Gongjin called to the guest room, "Brother Qin, come out." A loud voice rang out. Tong Huan, carrying the document, was wearing golden armor and iron ropes, while Xiubao, short but strong, came out twisting the chains. The Yuqi brothers' faces changed drastically, saying, "Brother Zhang, you underestimate me. Within the 4 seas, all are brothers. Brother Shan's letter has come to your office, and because of kinship, we are all friends. How can you treat us like this?" Gongjin smiled and said, "To tell you the truth, these shackles were originally made with slipknots. I was afraid that you brothers would blame me, so I met you like this. If you want to be polite, I'll remove them." The Yuqi brothers personally stepped forward, loosened the shackles for Xiubao, and instructed him to bring a bowing mat to greet him. "We have long admired your great name, like thunder in spring, heard everywhere. It is a pity that we are separated by mountains and rivers and cannot meet. It is a great honor to have you here today." Xiubao said, "If you could help my criminals, I would be deeply grateful." Yuqi Nan said, "Brother, please rest assured, I will take care of everything." These two are Tong Pijai and Jin Guojun. The two said, We are Tong Huan and Jin Jia. Yu Qinan said, There is no need for such modesty. I just saw that Master Shan's calligraphy also has your name on it. We are all friends. They were invited to bow to each other. Yu Kainan called out, Pei Zhai, is this the official document on the table? Pei Zhai replied, Yes. Yu Kainan said, Please take out the document so my brothers and I can see the contents. When I question you in court, we'll know what to do and be able to respond. Tong Huan feigned caution, saying, This document is sealed with my seal. I dare not open it without permission. Yu Kainan said, It's all right. Even sealing a document requires some effort. It's just an official document. Opening it is fine. The officials in court will inevitably need our hands to open it. There's no need to worry. Gong Jin ordered his men to bring half a cup of strong liquor, moisten the seal, and gently peel it open to take out the document. After the Yu Kai brothers finished reading it, they handed it back to Tong Huan and instructed him to reseal it as before. Yu Kainan remained silent. Gongjin said, Brother, why are you so deep in thought after reading the document? Yu Qinan said, I have long heard of Brother Shan's noble character and kindness in Lezhu, and I regret that I cannot meet him. But in this matter, I have acted disloyally for someone else's sake. Qin Shubao was grateful to Xingzin for saving his life, and seeing his friend speak ill of him, he disregarded that it was their first meeting and had to step forward to explain. My lords, Qin Qiang was in Lezhu and had no prior acquaintance with Xingzin. We met by chance, and he saved me from a critical illness and even gave me 500 taels of gold to return home. When Qin Qiang was down on his luck, he accidentally killed someone in the Zhejiao forest and was sentenced to a heavy punishment by Prefect Kai. Xingzin, however, showed his true friendship by sparing no expense to save Qin Qiang. He truly showed me a second life. How can you accuse him of acting disloyally for someone else's sake? Yu Qinan said. That is precisely the matter. Xingzin's letter recommended you to Brother Zhang Ren, and the friendship between Master Shan and you has already been exhausted. But look at the document. You killed Zhang Qi in the Zhejiao forest and were sentenced to a heavy punishment. Xingzin has the power to turn the tide and can make the punishment lighter. You've been sent to my humble office. I wonder why, among the many prosperous garrisons across the land, you didn't choose a land of plenty, but instead sent me here. Brother, you are unaware of my predicament, but I won't deny it. He was originally a nobleman under the Northern Qi, named Luo Yi. Seeing the fall of Northern Qi, he refused to submit to the Sui dynasty, leading a contingent of troops to Yuzhou, where he allied with the Turkic Khan in rebellion. The imperial court, after repeated defeats, had no choice but to issue an edict of amnesty, ceding Yuzhou to me, allowing me to collect taxes and retire, commanding a powerful army of 100,000 to garrison Yuzhou. I, relying on my martial prowess, act willfully. Those sent to my office, fearing they might be unruly and disobedient, will be given 100 lashes upon first meeting, a punishment known as the deterrent beating. Of 10 cent, 9 will die. You are now in a difficult position. Now I devise a plan. Have Pei Zhai seal the documents, and I will take them to the registration office, instructing the registration officer to remove all documents from other offices, register only the Lezhu document, and send Brother Qin in alone. Upon hearing Yuqi's words, all the friends were astonished. Zhang Gongjin said, Brother Yuqi, why did you send Brother Qin in alone? Yu Qinan replied, Brother, you don't know this. The lady inside is very kind. Every 1st and 15th of the month, she observes a vegetarian diet and chants Buddhist prayers. The master, sitting in court, has repeatedly instructed us not to beat anyone. Brother Qin, congratulations. Today happens to be the 15th of the 3rd month. If too many people are sent in, it might anger the official, or he might order them to be beaten, and it would be unbearable to witness it. Now, Brother Qin, temporarily remove your headscarf, let your hair down, and apply some unknown substance to your face, pretending to be ill. The two guards, Tong and Pei, will not be able to escape punishment. They can go to the commander's mansion and report that I am ill on the way. Perhaps, in a moment of anger or joy, the official will send me down to examine you. If you go back and confirm that you are indeed ill, the official can release you and take you into custody. Brother Chin in the ranks, can't you fight your way back home in glory with a spear and a sword? But these days, submitting a petition is the most difficult, as it is a matter of life and death. You all hurry up and pack your things. I will register the documents first. Yuchi and his companion went to the registration room and instructed the registration officer. Collect all the official documents from various government offices today, but only register this document from Leju. The registration officer dared not disobey and replied, "Understood." At this moment, the bugler played music 3 times, and the Central Army officers entered the gate. Xiubao, having finished preparing, waited at the west gate. Yuchi and his companion handed the registered document to Tong Huan and then entered the gate to follow their assigned duties. 3 cannon shots were fired, and the gates of the commander's mansion opened. The Central Army officers, the foremen, the flag and drum officers, the flag bearers, the servants, the flag bearers, the bindings, and the axe bearers in shifts, pairs, and layers, all entered the commander's mansion to pay their respects and then returned to their positions at the gate. The gatekeeper announced that the border cavalry officers who had been patrolling at night were bringing in their returning men. This group came out together, followed by the supply officer, who brought in daily necessities such as red paper and food. The third time was when the registration officer, carrying the register, entered the commander's mansion. According to custom, after the prisoner was released, he was led into the main gate to serve. When the registration officer emerged, things became much more complicated. 24 golden gongs sounded simultaneously from both sides of the steps. A tiger head plaque and 2 command flags escorted the registration officer out of the west corner gate to the street platform outside the main gate. The flag bearer ordered the prisoners to follow the plaque. A servant, carrying the documents, clad in golden armor and iron ropes, slew Qin Xiubao through the main gate. But that wasn't the worst of it. The only obstacle was the east corner gate, a forest of spears and swords. At the platform, the plaque-bearer ordered him to kneel. The distance from the east corner gate to the steps was only half an arrow's length, but it felt like climbing a steep cliff, leaving him breathless. Qin Xiubao, over 10 feet tall, felt shrunken under the weight of this imposing figure. Kneeling on the ground, he stole glances at the official on the throne. His bones, like jade, stand tall, destined for high office. His heart, as firm as gold, is devoted to his lord. His hair, prematurely white with worry, grows old yet wise. His prestige extends far beyond the borders. His influence, deep within the tent, is felt by his men. Li Mu, a mighty border official, arrives. The beacon fires extinguished on distant peaks. His hair and beard are streaked with white. He wears the robes of a first-rank official, sitting upright like Mount Tai, unmoving and steadfast. Lord Luo ordered the general to bring up the official document. The general descended from the platform, retrieved the document, and knelt before the eaves. The officers in the tent took it, and the inspector beside the official's seat removed the seal and laid the document on the official's seat. Lord Luo examined the document from the prefect of Leju. Jai Jun, if it had come from another department, he would decide whether to punish him or not. The prefect of Leju, Kai Giant, was Lord Luo's prized student. This Lord Luo was a military officer. How could he have a civil official protege like Kai Giant? Years ago, Kai Giant had been escorting military provisions from Yuzhu that had exceeded the stipulated time. According to military law, he should have been severely punished, but Lord Luo, seeing that he was a young scholar who had passed the imperial examinations, showed leniency and spared his life. Kai Jian, grateful for this, became Lord Luo's disciple. Now, Lord Luo saw a prisoner being questioned by his student and read the entire document to see how Kai Jian's understanding was and whether the person being questioned was truly guilty. He personally read military criminal Qin Qiang from Lichang and was shocked. He paused for a moment, then covered the document. He ordered the inspector to collect the document and copy it into a register for future reference. He instructed the officer in charge. Have the escorts take the prisoner back for trial after noon. Tong Huan and Jin Jia, upon hearing this, didn't hesitate to descend the platform with ease, using iron ropes to carry them down. At this time, Zhang Gongjin, Shidanai, and Bai Xiandao were all waiting outside the west gate. They asked Yuqi, "How is it going?" Yuqi replied, "The trial will be held after the noon session." Gongjin asked, "What is being tried?" Yuqinan said, "This has never happened before. Whether to beat or not is the only outcome. I don't know what the trial is about." Gongjin asked, "When?" Yuqinan said, "It's still early." "The gates are closed now, the court is closed. We'll have a midday nap and lunch, and then we'll go back to court to hear the case, set off cannons and raise the flag, just like the morning session." Gongjin said, "It's still early. Let's go to our quarters to drink and calm our nerves. Once we leave the gate, we'll remove the shackles and go to our quarters to relax. We can come and serve you only after we hear the cannons." After finishing his court business, Lord Luo retreated to the inner hall, not returning to his office. He ordered his men to remove their official hats and belts, don huge liang caps, and put on simple travel clothes with jade face shields and belts before sitting down on a small official seat. He instructed his servants to inquire in the clerk's office and bring in the military dispatch documents from Lezhu. He unfolded them on his official seat in the inner hall, carefully read them from beginning to end, and then closed the documents. He then ordered his servants to strike the cloud-shaped clapper, open the gate, and invite the old lady, Madame Qin, to come out of the inner hall for a meeting. Madame Qin, accompanied by her 11-year-old son, Luo Cheng, and her housekeeper and maids, came out of the inner hall. The old lady greeted him and sat down, while the young master stood in attendance. The lady spoke, "My lord, why did you leave court today and not return to your inner chambers? What brings you here to discuss this matter?" Lord Luo sighed. "Back then, the nation suffered a calamity and my late brother, General Wu Wei, passed away. Does he have any descendants?" Hearing this, the lady burst into tears, saying, "My late brother, Qinyi, I heard died in battle in Kizhu. My sister-in-law, Enning, only gave birth to Tapinglang, who is only 3 years old." He accompanied her to that post. "Now more than 20 years have passed, and we are separated by vast distances. The dynasties have changed, and our fates are uncertain. I wonder why you ask about this, my lord?" Lord Luo said, "Just now, during my court session, a military prisoner was brought in from Hedong. Madam, please don't be offended, he shares the same surname as you." The lady asked, "Is Hedong the same as Shandong?" Lord Luo laughed, "Truly a woman's words." "Speak," said the lady. "Hedong and Shandong are 1,000 miles apart. How can Hedong be Shandong?" The lady replied, "If it's not Shandong, there are many people with the same surname throughout the world, but it certainly isn't the Qin from Shandong." Lord Luo said, "The document just now said that this Qin man is from Lichang, Shandong. He was sent from Kizhu to Lezhu and Hedong." The lady said, "Since he's from Shandong, he might be Taping Lang. Although I can't remember his face, we all know his family background. I want to see this Qin man now, ask him about his whereabouts, and see if he is him." Lord Luo said, "That's not difficult. However, since you are in the inner chambers, it would be improper for me to meet this consort face to face. I must draw a curtain before inviting him in." Lord Luo ordered his servants to lower the curtain and give the order to go out and slightly open the gate to summon the escort from Lezhu to bring in the criminal Qin Qiang. His friends were drinking to calm their nerves, except for Xu Bao, who, fearing the trial, dared not drink excessively. They waited for the cannon to open the gate before bringing in the torture instruments, never expecting it to be a slight opening. The eunuch and flag officer inside the gate shouted in disarray. The master is conducting the trial in the back hall, summoning the escort from Leju to bring in the criminal Qin Qiang. Where could they find him? They only found him at the gate of Yuqi's residence. They hurriedly put on the torture instruments. Yuqi Nan and Yuqi Bei, officials of the Yamen, along with Tong Huan and Jin Jia, brought Xu Bao into the general's mansion. Zhang Gongjin and his 2 companions waited outside for news. The 5 men entered through the main gate, the ceremonial gate, the platform, and the hall. Near the back hall, 2 servants emerged from behind a screen door, calling out, "Leju Jizi, don't come in." They took the iron rope and led Xu Bao into the back hall, where he knelt on the steps. Xu Bao glanced up, noticing the imposing presence of weapons and axes unlike the morning court. Lord Luo was dressed in plain clothes, with 6 men in blue robes and large hats standing behind him, all with their hands at their sides. 8 servants stood below the platform, all wearing headscarves and tied sleeves. Xu Bao felt somewhat relieved upon seeing them. Lord Luo called out, "Qin Qiang, come up a little." Xu Bao feigned illness and fear of being beaten, lying prone and unable to climb up. Lord Luo ordered his servants to remove Qin Qiang's instruments of torture. 2 servants came down and removed the instruments. Lord Luo called out, "Come up a little more." Xu Bao then crawled up on his elbows and knees, enduring those few steps. Lord Luo asked, "How many households in Kizhu, Shandong, share the surname Qin?" Qin Qiang replied, "In Licheng County, Kizhu, there are many people surnamed Qin who work as horse breeders and laborers, but I am the only soldier in my household." "So, you're a military officer?" asked Luo Gong. Qin Qiang replied, "I'm a soldier." Luo Gong said, "Wait, you're trying to deceive your superior again. You're serving in Kizhu on official business in Leju, Hedong, at the behest of Governor Liu. If you're a soldier, why are you working for a commoner in Kizhu?" Qin Qiang kowtowed and said, "Sir, because bandits are rampant in Shandong, this prefecture is recruiting, offering a generous reward to anyone who can capture them." "I was originally a soldier, and because of my merit in capturing bandits, Governor Liu rewarded me with a small squad as a bandit capturing captain. I was on official business in Leju, Hedong, when I accidentally killed someone, and this has been brought before you, sir." Luo Gong said, "You were originally a soldier, serving as a county official. Let me ask you again. There was a general of the martial guard who was loyal to the northern Qi emperor. Qin Yi, I heard his family is scattered in Shandong." "Do you know that?" Upon hearing his father's name, Xu Bao wept as he stepped down the steps, saying, "General Wu Wei is Qin Qiang's father. I beg you, sir, to grant my father's name and grant him a reprieve." Luo Gong stood up and said, "You are the son of General Wu Wei." At that moment, they all spoke at once. The old lady, unable to wait behind the red curtain, called out, "You surnamed Qin, what is your mother's surname?" Qin Qiang said, "My mother is Enning." The lady said, "Ah." "Who is Taping Lang?" Qin Qiang said, "That is my childhood name." Seeing her own nephew so destitute, the old lady, unable to wait for her servants to roll up the curtain, reached out and lifted it herself, walked out of the inner hall and embraced her head, weeping. Qin Qiang dared not acknowledge her and knelt on the ground, weeping. Luo Gong also stamped his foot and sighed, "Since you are my relative, rise and greet me." The young master, seeing his mother's tears, also began to weep. The servants had already taken the instruments of torture and went outside the main hall, calling out, "Leju escort, take these instruments of torture. Uncle Qin is the master's nephew, and the old lady is his aunt. They've already recognized each other in the back hall. It's all right to take the decree back. We'll escort him out to you tomorrow." The Yuqi brothers clapped and laughed as they left the mansion. Zhang Gongjin and his friends were waiting outside. Seeing the Yuqi brothers come out laughing, they asked, "Why are you two so happy?" Yuqi Nan said, "Don't worry, everyone. Brother Qin has a real family. Master Luo is his uncle and the old lady is his aunt. They've already recognized each other as family. Let's go downstairs to drink and celebrate." Meanwhile, Lord Luo led Uncle Bao into the inner courtyard of the house and instructed the young master, "You accompany your cousin to the study to bathe and change clothes. Get me some clothes to change into for Brother Chin." Uncle Bao combed his hair neatly, washed away the imperfections on his face, and then came out to greet his uncle and aunt, and also bowed 4 times to the young master. He then asked his cousin for 2 invitations and wrote 2 letters, one requesting Lord Luo to approve and send it to Tong Pijai, and to Zai Xingxin of Leju to report the good news. The other letter was given to the Yuchi brothers to convey to their 3 friends, Zai Zhang and Gongjin. By this time, the wine was already prepared in the back hall, and Lord Luo and his wife were seated at the head of the table. Uncle Bao and his cousin were seated on either side. After 2 rounds of drinks, Luo Gong said, "Nephew, I see you are a handsome man, surely possessing extraordinary courage. Your late father passed away too early, and your mother is now a widow living far from home. Have you learned any martial arts?" Xu Bao replied, "I know how to use double maces." Luo Gong said, "These are the 2 gold-plated maces left by your late father. Did you bring them to Yuzhou?" Xu Bao said, "I served under Governor Kai in Leju. I used these 2 maces as weapons, along with my saddle and horse baggage, all stored away." Luo Gong said, "That's all right. Governor Kai is my protege. I'll send an official to retrieve them another day. But there's something I need to tell you, nephew. I, an old man, guard Yuzhou with over 10,000 soldiers and 1,000 officers. Rewards are given based on merit, and the law doesn't favor relatives. Now I intend to appoint my nephew to an official post, but I fear some officers will gossip, causing him shame. My idea is to go to the drill hall tomorrow and test your martial arts skills in person. If you are indeed skilled in archery and horsemanship, then appoint you to an official post, and the officers will be silenced." Uncle Bao bowed and said, "If you are fortunate enough to receive your promotion, uncle, my life will be filled with good fortune. Such kindness is like being reborn." Lord Luo instructed his servants, "Send out the military tally and inform the Central Army officers. Tomorrow, all troops from Yuzhou will leave the city for the military drills." At dawn the next morning, Lord Luo fired the cannons to open the gates. Surrounded by his Central Army, Shidanai paid his respects in the main hall, reporting on the arena competition and repairing the flags. The entire entourage of soldiers, all in full military attire, followed Lord Luo's 4-horse carriage out of the commander's mansion. 10,000 fierce warriors guard the northern capital, their golden seals shining brightly under the moon. Flags fluttered as clouds rose over the Yi River. Spears flew wildly like frost over the Yan Terrace. Xu Bao, lacking a promising future, dressed like one of Lord Luo's household retainers, wearing a gold-topped hat, a robe with a brocade cap, a silver-faced belt, and black boots with pink soles. He mounted his horse and followed Lord Luo out of the training ground in the eastern suburbs. The young master, with 4 retainers, followed behind. However, the flag officer guarding the gate stopped him, pleading and kowtowing, refusing to let the young master out. It turned out that Lord Luo had given orders. His son, though only 11 years old, possessed extraordinary strength, could ride a poor horse, and draw a strong bow. He often led his retainers on hunting expeditions in the suburbs. Lord Luo, being an incorruptible official, feared that the son's refined manners might lead him to trample the crops of the common people. Therefore, he instructed the gatekeepers not to let the son leave the manor. The son had no choice but to order his retainers to lead his horse back into the manor. Returning to his mother in the inner hall, he showed her the image of a child and began to weep, saying he wanted to go to the martial arts hall to watch his cousin's competition, but the gatekeepers refused to let him out. The old lady, knowing that her son was related to her by blood, and unsure of his martial arts skills, wanted the son to go and see, and to return first to inform her thus opening her heart. She then summoned the 4 stewards. All 4 men had snow-white beards and had followed Lord Luo from the northern Qi dynasty to the present, sharing both glory and hardship. They were all destined for greatness and were known as the head of the household. The old lady said, "You 4 are quite sensible. You can go with the young master to the martial arts hall to watch Uncle Chin's match. Tell him the gatekeeper is trying to stop you. Just say I sent the young master and keep it a secret from the master." The 4 men replied, "Understood." The young master was overjoyed at his mother's instructions. He hurriedly went to his study to gather a small crossbow with a decorative tip and several dozen soft feathered bamboo arrows in a brocade pouch. After watching his cousin's match, he planned to go to the wilderness to shoot birds and beasts for fun. The 5 men mounted their horses and were about to leave the general's mansion when the gatekeeper again stopped them. The head of the household said, "The old lady wants the young master to go watch Uncle Chin's match, but only to keep it a secret from the master for now." The gatekeeper said, "Please, young master, return quickly and don't tell the master." The young master shouted, "Don't say another word." The 5 horses rode out of the gate and arrived at the East Suburb military training ground. At this moment, cannons were fired and flags were raised in the drill ground. 5 horsemen rushed to the east gate, dismounted, and watched the drill. The 4 stewards, fearing their master might see the young master in his tent, had 2 in front and 2 behind, flanking the young master as they entered through the east gate to watch. How this will unfold remains to be seen. Please read the next chapter.